On April 8, 2009, Tori Stafford walked away from her elementary school in Woodstock, Ontario, and vanished. She was just 8 years old, a bright, smiling little girl wearing a Hannah Montana t-shirt and a pair of butterfly earrings. This isn't just a story about a horrifying crime. It's a story that shocked a nation, exposed deep cracks in the justice system, and left a family and a country forever changed. Victoria, Tori Stafford, was taken to school by grandmother Linda Winters. Tori borrowed a pair of butterfly earrings from her mother. In the lineup for the bell at the end of the day, Tori asks if she can go back in the classroom to get the earrings. She returns after the bell rings and the other children have left. Later that night, her mom, Tara McDonald, called the police. Tori wasn't at the house. She wasn't with friends. She had simply vanished. A surveillance camera from a nearby building showed Tori walking with a woman in a white puffy coat. No one recognized her. No Amber Alert was issued, and the clock was already ticking. Within hours, Woodstock was in full crisis mode. Posters were everywhere. Volunteers searched parks, trails, rivers. Everyone was looking for the girl with the big eyes and a big heart. But doubts started creeping in. The police seemed slow. The public questioned the mom's story. Why no Amber Alert? Why did it take hours to even begin a full-scale search? The focus turned inward, even toward Tori's own mother. Weeks passed. No Tori, no answers. Then, out of nowhere, police arrested an 18-year-old woman named Terry Lynn McClintock. At first, she was being held on unrelated charges. But then, she cracked. She told police the unthinkable. She knew what happened to Tori. She had lured her, and she wasn't alone. McClintock named her boyfriend, Michael Rafferty, a 28-year-old man with a disturbing online history and a much darker real-life one.
I look at this as like taking off a Band-Aid, right? You can do it quickly, you can get it done, right? You can just keep pulling it a little bit at a time, and that's what hurts, right? That's what you're going through right now. We need to just tear that Band-Aid off, okay? Just tell me what you saw, okay?
I see Mike, you kick her a couple times, like, the garbage bag over her head. I didn't have a clearer, like, sight of Tori. Like, I could see Mike before I could see anything of Tori. Like, used to hammer.
Where did he hit her with the hammer?
And I see the garbage bag over, so there wasn't afterwards. Like, just pretty much what made it easiest. Like, he knew what he was doing. Like.
Terry Lynn McClintock was later identified as the woman seen on the surveillance camera walking up Fife Avenue with Tori. With the promise of seeing the puppy, McClintock lured Tori to a Honda Civic parked by a nearby nursing home. She pushes Tori into the back seat and gets in. Michael Rafferty drives the car to HY 401 to a Home Depot in Guelph, where McClintock buys a claw hammer and garbage bags. Terry Lynn McClintock's biological mother, who had been working as a stripper, gave her up to another woman in the same line of work, Carol McClintock. According to Terry Lynn, her adoptive mother left the stripping industry once she took on the responsibility of raising her. Terry Lynn McClintock was exposed to substance use at a very young age. beginning with marijuana by the age of 8. Over the years, her drug use escalated to include cocaine, ecstasy, morphine, and OxyContin. During her adolescence, she reportedly developed disturbing fantasies about harming others and learned to shut down most emotions except for anger. Very little is documented about Michael Rafferty's early life. He spent much of his childhood in the Toronto area, but for reasons that remain unclear, he was sent to live with an aunt and uncle in a rural community during his middle school years. In his 20s, Rafferty resided in Guelph, Ontario, holding brief jobs at a meat processing plant and later with a landscaping company. He reportedly claimed to some women that he held degrees in kinesiology and culinary arts, though there is no confirmation that these credentials were legitimate. Michael Rafferty and Terry Lynn McClintock first crossed paths on February 4, 2009, at a pizza shop in Woodstock, Ontario. According to McClintock, Rafferty called her a pretty little number, and the two left together. They had sex in his car that same night. During the encounter, McClintock later reported that Rafferty climbed on top of her and began choking her. She returned home not long afterward, carrying cold pizza and Rafferty's phone number written on the box. She did not know his last name. He had revealed little about himself. McClintock was not the first young woman to experience choking during sex with Rafferty. In total, 12 other women later came forward. Some described them as consensual, while others alleged they were assaulted. One woman reportedly signed a note consenting to sexual choking and passing out, while another claimed she had been drugged, choked, and raped. McClintock pled guilty in 2010 to first-degree murder. She got life in prison. Rafferty, on the other hand, denied everything.
Okay, are you hungry now? I can get you a full meal if you want.
Yes, okay.
You bacon and eggs, or do you want something else?
I'm too sick to talk. This is ridiculous.
That's okay. You can listen. And if you have any questions as we go along, there's no issues there at all, okay?
Okay.
I got a few things I'll talk to you about. As I told you, my name is Chris. My last name is Lone. I understand your name is Michael. Now, do you go by Mike or Michael? What's your preference?
It doesn't matter.
Okay. I'll probably call you Mike, so unless that really offends you, just leave it with me. Now, you should have any problems with my name because your middle name, one of your middle names is Christopher, so I know you'll have no issues with remembering my name. How come you got more than one middle name, do you know?
I don't know. It's my uncles and my grandfather.
I got 3 middle names as well, and that's for my job. When all is said and done here, do I think Mike's done? This is it. He's made his mistake. He realizes how wrong the mistake that he made, and he's willing to look past it? Or do I have to sit here and say, all right, my report's going to say very simple, I think this guy's going to reoffend. I think this guy is going to kill.
Isn't that for courts to decide if I've even done it or not?
The courts will decide if what your role is in this particular case. My role is to write a report for the court to determine what I think your risk level is. And that's there's other reports that my units write as well. And that's what our job is. We deal with these types of situations and the reasons why people do this stuff, okay? Like I say, this may have been a thing that you just snapped and did something. That stuff happens. Or it may have been something you planned for many months and got some enjoyment out of the plan.
I didn't do anything.
Well, that's not entirely true either.
That is entirely true.
No.
I didn't do anything.
No, you can try and cement yourself into that, okay? But at the same time, you're not doing yourself any good by not being truthful here, okay? Because by not being truthful, like you say, is this something that you've done before and you've been involved in the death of other people and you enjoyed this? Am I sitting across the desk from Paul Bernardo here? Am I sitting across from someone who's made a mistake, okay? And that's going to be the question that's asked of you, all right? I'll get you a bucket there just a second. You gotta get sick, pull your boots there. Okay? I've seen it before. You're not gonna offend me or bother me. So if you gotta be sick, Mike, go right ahead. I'll get you some paper towels or something. feel like you're going to be sick, just grab the, I'll have the bucket there handy for you, okay? Just leave it right there. You and I need to involved with it from a behavioral sciences standpoint for a while, so I said I'll come in and talk to you.
Can I watch it?
Want to watch what she said?
Mm-hmm.
Which parts?
I don't know where she's implicating me.
You want me to cue up some of the parts?
Sure.
Okay, what part would you like to see?
Just the part where she's saying this is me.
Okay. Okay, I can do that. Any other thoughts or anything else you'd like?
I'm very concerned about what my family's gonna think.
Personal question, does your family know anything about any OxyContin use by you?
I don't know.
So just the OxyContin thing's going to be a bit of a shock.
Four times. Hey, you want to call a lawyer? She says, I don't need to call a lawyer. I feel so bad about what happened. I just want to tell you all about it. That's what you're up against.
Terry Lynn's a liar.
Well, you're the only person that can tell us that, bud.
I just did.
You gotta be careful, though, Mike, because some of the shit she said is backed by not just video but other evidence, but also some of the explanation.
Hey, Mike. I'm a pretty get down to the facts kind of guy. I'm sure you've realized that from our brief encounter earlier, all right? This is not rocket science. I've got what Terry Lynn has told me this afternoon, and I've got you. This is your opportunity. Terry Lynn's sitting right here. Tell us she's a liar. You've had no problem at saying it without her in the room.
Terry's a liar.
Yeah, that's what you're hoping.
I'm not even looking at her.
I don't need to look at her.
You haven't been looking at anyone.
We can either say,
He's waiting to speak to a lawyer.
yeah, and then it's open season for the media. They can say whatever they want.
Well, it doesn't matter what they say. It's not going to make a difference of what they say. Nothing's going to change what they say. Even if they were 100% rooting for me, it's not going to change because of things that they say. If they were gunning for me, it's not going to change because of what they say.
Right.
It's not going to make a difference.
No, it's not going to make a difference. You're right. It's not going to change the fact that you're going to be charged with murdering Tori Stafford. You're right.
Charged.
Yeah.
Not convicted.
No, I don't convict people. I'm an investigator. I follow the evidence.
Michael, you're gonna go back in your cell now, okay? Do you got a snack there that you want to take with you, or cookies? Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Back this way.
With this history report.
Hey, Steph, how are you? Want to come for a sec? I understand Mike here wanted to see what Terry Lynn had to say. Mike, Terry Lynn's still speaking to my partner, okay? This is a girl you killed, all right? She's not missing anymore. She's dead. Terry Lynn was asked today if she wanted to call a lawyer 4 times. She said no, all 4 times. She went through 2 boxes of Kleenex.
Despite his denials, the evidence was damning. Text messages between them, internet searches, and McClintock's brutal account of what happened.
Jury of 9 women and 3 men aren't familiar with Woodstock, so the Crown spent a lot of time this week showing them detailed photos of the area where she was taken, including where surveillance cameras were located. Those cameras show this Honda Civic, which the Crown alleges belonged to Michael Rafferty, driving by the spot Tori was taken, once at 9 a.m., again at 3 p.m., then at an Esso station in the area minutes before Tori would be taken. And again at 3:30, this time slowing down, pulling into a retirement home. Minutes later, Terry Lynn McClintock is seen leading Tori away from the school. This new angle shows the two walking to the retirement home, where the prosecution says Rafferty was parked and waiting. The Crown says this establishes Michael Rafferty was in the area when Tori was taken. Based on the timeline, it appears Tori's abduction took just a matter of a few minutes. When Tori's mother took the stand, the jury learned she met Terry Lynn McClintock twice before the abduction. The jury was shown 2 scraps of paper with phone numbers written on them and told how McDonald's boyfriend had bought drugs from McClintock's mother. The jury also learned more about Terry Lynn McClintock's whereabouts the day of Tori's disappearance, how she visited an employment center, her resume shown in court where McClintock describes herself as a perfectionist, a job survey where she says she's someone who tends to become angry easily, and where she lists babysitting kids up to 5 years old as a previous job.
In April 2012, after a high-profile trial that lasted nearly 10 weeks, Rafferty was found guilty on all counts: first-degree murder, kidnapping, and sexual assault causing bodily harm. The jury deliberated for more than a week, carefully reviewing disturbing testimony from Terry Lynn McClintock, forensic evidence from Rafferty's car, and cell tower data that mapped his movements on the day of the abduction. The verdict left no doubt. Rafferty bore direct responsibility for the planning, abduction, and death of Tori Stafford. The judge imposed the mandatory sentence for first-degree murder in Canada, life in prison with no eligibility for parole for 25 years. Following the verdict, Rafferty launched an appeal. He argued that the judge's instructions to the jury were flawed and that the verdict relied too heavily on the testimony of Terry Lynn McClintock. His appeal papers were filed bolstered by a request for an extension attributed to his inability to contact legal counsel from prison.
Today, Rafferty appeared at his hearing via video link. He's trying to get the courts to pay for his lawyer as he appeals his conviction. The family sat fixated on the screen during the brief hearing.
I was shaking because all I wanted to do was go through the screen. Like this guy took my daughter. Like, literally took her. She's gone.
In Rafferty's appeal, he claims Justice Thomas Heaney made an error in his instructions to the jury. He's already been turned down by legal aid and is now applying to the Attorney General to pay for his lawyer.
Either way, the taxpayer gets to pay for the appeal. The rates can be different.
Going through the Attorney General could cost more, since legal aid normally caps the amount of hours lawyers can work on a case.
It may be that the expenses will be higher if it's not a poor person that's paying for it, but it's instead the Attorney General's office.
Figuring out who pays and the appeal is not a quick process.
The appeal was heard before the Ontario Court of Appeal on October 24, 2016, and swiftly dismissed the same day, with judges stating there was no air of reality in his claim that he acted merely as an accomplice. The Stafford family reacted with relief. Tori's father, Rodney Stafford, said he can go back and rot, believing the legal system had upheld justice.
Justice for Tori!
Celebration outside of the Ontario Court of Appeal in honor of a young life lost.
The crowns we had in London and the justice there did their jobs accordingly and couldn't be any more proud.
Tori Stafford was murdered 7 years ago. Michael Rafferty was convicted of first-degree murder in May 2012. But Rodney Stafford, Tara McDonald, and their friends and family were dragged back into that hell Monday morning.
We've got no choice but to relive it until this is done.
Rafferty was not in court as his lawyer, Paul Calarco, made a roughly 3-hour appeal for a new trial. Among his main points, Calarco argued that the original trial judge made an error when he didn't tell the jury they could consider that Rafferty was only an accessory afterward and not a participant in Tori's murder, and that he shouldn't have allowed them to consider the testimony of Rafferty's also convicted ex, Terry Lynn McClintock, who told police Rafferty struck the hammer blows that killed Tori, but on the stand, having pleaded guilty in her own trial, testified that she, in fact, killed the girl. After a 20-minute recess, Justices Sharp, Laskin, and Grant surprised the courtroom by denying the appeal without even hearing the Crown's arguments. Justice John Laskin telling Rafferty's lawyer, quote, "We simply don't agree with you." The decision led to spontaneous applause in the courtroom by Tori's family.
In October 2018, McClintock was controversially transferred from a conventional prison to the Okimau-Ochi Healing Lodge in Saskatchewan, a minimum medium security facility reserved for Indigenous offenders. This sparked outrage. She wasn't verified to be Indigenous, and the Stafford family decried the move.
Canada's public safety minister is reviewing a case that's caused outrage in Ontario. Convicted killer Terry Lynn McClintock is serving a life sentence for her part in the murder of 8-year-old Tori Stafford. Earlier this year, McClintock was transferred to a medium-security Aboriginal healing lodge in Saskatchewan. It's not clear if McClintock self-identifies as Aboriginal. The family of the murdered girl is furious, and today in Ottawa, the Tories took up their cause and demanded answers. Abigail Beeman was in the House of Commons as it happened. Abigail, is there a perception McClintock will have it easier in this healing lodge than a conventional prison?
Well, Donna, healing lodges don't have traditional bars. The one in question in Saskatchewan is described as an open campus facility. They're designed to allow Indigenous offenders to practice their culture, and any offender can self-identify as Indigenous. No proof is needed.
Conservative politicians demanded her return. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau accused them of ambulance-chasing politicians, which only intensified the controversy.
But the Conservatives are calling for a reversal of the decision. This dominated question period today as several Conservative MPs offered details of Tori's gruesome death. Have a listen.
Terry Lynn McClintock helped lure Tori, hit Tori 3 times in the head with a claw hammer. She was a lookout while Tori was raped, and then helped place Tori's body in a garbage bag.
In 2014, the individual was transferred to a medium security facility under the previous government. This individual is still in a medium security facility today. That question needs to be noticed by Canadians, and that behavior needs to be noticed by Canadians.
The Conservatives' exploitation of this little girl's death is sickening.
If the details of this horrific case are so awful that the Prime Minister can't stand hearing them, then he should do the right thing and make sure that the killer is behind bars.
Under growing pressure, Public Safety Minister Ralph Goodall ordered a review, and on November 7, 2018, McClintock was returned to a federal prison, and stricter criteria for healing lodge transfers were introduced. Over the years, Rafferty's security classification changed. Originally housed in a maximum security facility at Port Cartier, Quebec, he was quietly transferred in March 2018 to Le Macasa, a medium security institution in Quebec's Laurentans, sparking renewed outrage from Stafford's family.
But in late 2018, Tori's father, Rodney Stafford, learned Rafferty had actually been transferred months earlier to a medium security facility in Quebec. After seeing his daughter's other killer transferred to an Indigenous healing lodge earlier in the year and only sent back after public outcry, Stafford was fed up.
Their whole goal is to try to make it lighter or make it easier for the criminal to rehabilitate to get back out onto the streets.
The public safety minister at the time insisted Rafferty's new facility specializes in dealing with sex offenders, but that's not good enough for Rodney.
The move was particularly painful to those who felt it marked a shift toward leniency for one of the most heinous crimes in Canadian history, and raised broader questions about transparency and corrections.
Tori Stafford's life was brief but bright. A child whose promise was stolen. Yet her story brought a nation together and sparked changes meant to protect others. This is her legacy.